This week on Movie Mayhem Live, Charley Hunnam and Rami Malek from Papillion. Brian Henson on creating and directing the R-rated puppet movie, The Happytime Murders. And the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. Yes, that's the name of the movie. But first, we must take you to a little river town in Monaca, Pennsylvania, Beaver County. It's Movie Mayhem Live. Hey everyone, I'm Chuck the Movie Guy, and welcome to Movie Mayhem Live. Please join us. The phone lines are open. Just click on that Contact Us box right at the top of the page. And also, don't forget to like the page, too. It's very, very important. But we got a busy show here. I just lost my teleprompter, which is going to make for a really interesting mid-show because I can't pronounce anything. But we got to go directly to Toronto, so get your passports out. It's Bonnie Laufer Krebs. Bonnie!
Nice
Yeah.
You know, everybody's going to think I live in the CN Tower. But
You do, Bonnie. As far as they're concerned, you live in the tower. Hey, Bonnie, I added a nice little clock. We got a clock on the show this time.
Awesome.
Bring down the sound.
That.
Yeah. And you're leaving right from here to go to Ireland, right?
I am very dedicated tonight. We're going to do the show, and then I'm going to hop in. My son's going to take me and my other son to the airport where we are proceeding to go to Ireland tonight. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we got to take a journey to the MGM and Jeff Howard's private penthouse residence. We're going there. We got to. There he is. Hey, buddy, what's happening?
I'm just waiting for room service here at the MGM. You know, I ordered a steak dinner and I ordered extra towels, but no one's shown up yet.
Oh, well, you know, you got to get on that concierge there, I'm telling you.
They'll get there. They'll get there.
Hey, before we get started, I'm going to turn off the music here. First of all, we're done because because Greg Russell, Detroit, just bailed on us, and then Gino bailed on us as well. So, but
I gotta go. See ya.
Yeah, but I know. Wait, come back. It's not that bad, you guys. Come on. Anyhow, before we start, we got to say a big congratulations because the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame 2018. Jeff Howard received. He was admitted into it. No, he earned his way in there. And one of the things that I'm very excited about was I had a spy in there, and I was able to get some footage.
All while having the flu and 103-degree fever. He was not going to live his 15 minutes and still let go. And it turned out to be one of his all-time favorite interviews.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to say we got a big standing ovation from sitting down there. That's very, very exciting. Tell us about that, Jeff. Why don't you give us that?
Well, it's the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and the Nevada Broadcasters is a nonprofit group that serves the public interest for broadcasting in Nevada. And the annual gala they do every year goes to UNLV and UNR to scholarship funds for journalism. And so all the money and the silent auctions, all the proceeds go to that. But each year you can be nominated. You have to have a minimum of 20 years of broadcasting in the state of Nevada. I had 23. Someone nominated me. The committee said yes. And I had one of the best nights with my family and coworkers that I've had in a long time. It was really good.
Oh, well, I can't tell you how exciting that is. I don't think I would ever get an award for doing anything in the broadcasting field. But that is truly earned. Now, Gino could not be with us, but he also wanted to. What?
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
He goes, hey, Chuck, please run this for Jeff.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I couldn't be with you this week, but you are going to see my interview from the movie Papillion. I did want to congratulate a great critic who gets an honor that is so well deserved. And that's why I just want to congratulate you, Bonnie, on your honor.
No, it's Jeff Howard.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, you got burned there, buddy. Too funny.
I love Gino. That was great.
Yeah, that was really, really good. All right.
I tell you, we all have great sense of humor. I love that. I love how we can all have fun with each other like that because I can never be serious either.
Bonnie, you weren't part of the show last week, but we pretty much had a Jeff tag team sandwich where we just pummeled him all day. So it was a lot of fun. So.
Okay.
All right, so let's do some movie news real quick. We have a new Dora the Explorer, and it's 17-year-old. You probably recognize her from the Transformer movie, and I finally got my teleprompter up there, but she's currently in Australia right now filming Dora the Explorer, and her name is Isabel Moner. So I don't know what you guys thought of the new Dora the Explorer. I don't know. It just seemed to be always on. The cartoon,
yeah.
I think it was about time that they finally made a movie, and you got to admit, that girl looks exactly like the cartoon.
She does.
I have never seen it. I know of the name, but I have no clue what Dora the Explorer is about, what she does. It's like Bob the Builder. He builds things. I really don't know, but she looks like it. I know it's got a popular following, so it's the next logical step.
Yeah.
Little girls will love it.
I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're making her a lot older, though. I mean, it was...
Well, it's the law, that's why.
yeah, I guess...
She has to work. She's probably 21. He looks, 12.
Yeah.
It's all legal reasons for production. What studio's doing this? Do you know? Is it a major studio? Or?
It's probably Nickelodeon or something like that?
I thought it was a PBS show.
If I was a better film critic, I would know this information. That's why I will never be inducted into any kind of Hall of Fame broadcasting whatsoever.
You're a terrible producer. You're terrible.
Yeah. Oh, terrible. All right. Next up is every week, the Critics' Choice, the Broadcast Film Critics, issues a seal of distinction. And this week, or actually 2 weeks ago, they gave it to the wife with Glenn Close and Jonathan Pryce. And then this week, it went to Juliet Naked. Yeah, so that's kind of exciting that we're getting those awards out. And I thought we would just once a week mention that. Now, did either one of you guys get a chance to see either of those movies?
I saw The Wife, and it doesn't come out till like mid-September, but they showed us early. And Juliet Naked, I see tomorrow.
Actually. Oh, really? Yeah, I know that you're
jam-packed.
You got something like 7 movies you're watching. Well, I hope you take notes because we're going to be asking you about that. All right, next up is box office, or maybe not. What's that? Hey, it's my wife Paula.
Hey, Paula.
In the box office last weekend, Crazy Rich Asians, #1, on fire with $26.5 million. The Meg came in second with $21 million. Mile 22 took third place at $13 million, even though Jeff Howard didn't spend a dime on it. Mission Impossible Fallout is in fourth place with 10.7, still holding in there. And Alpha came in fifth, just right behind them at 10.3. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, in 91st place, the Billionaires Boys Club, Kevin Spacey's latest movie, took in a grand total of $618 total. Now, that's in 11 theaters. Now, what does that really mean? Well, if you look at 34th place, it was The Wife with $108,000 in only 4 theaters. So that gives you a little bit of perspective. Wow, that's pretty sad, don't you think?
It's on video on demand too. I'm curious to see it. You know what? I'm sure it's a good movie because Spacey's an incredible actor. It's just that the toxic,
People
toxic.
Don't want to go.
No?
Just don't want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. He's done, isn't he done?
Well,
oh, yeah.
You know what? I think so, but everybody ends up having their comeback in some way, shape, or form. It'll be interesting to see how he manipulates himself back in. But given this box office, I mean, oh my God, who's going to hire him?
Yeah, for sure. So that I found that interesting though. But the fact that it was only open in that many theaters, and yet it still got blown away by another movie that was in 11 theaters. So
I've never heard of it. I didn't hear of it until it made the news.
Same. Never, me neither.
I'm trying to, I just found out that Bonnie did another interview, and I've been trying to download it as it got to. Now, the last movie news that we have is just so sad. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Can you believe it?
I know. Danny boy,
I was looking for. Honestly, I was like, okay, Bond 25, blah 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 blah. But when he was attached to the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, because he did the Olympics and he's such a Bond fan. I would love to know because what happened because of the creative differences. Any idea? Do you have any dream directors, Jeff? Anybody that you would want to see direct a Bond movie?
Oh man, Danny Boyle, I was looking forward to that. I'm such a big fan of his, and I just try to think what could be the creative difference. Is it maybe the casting of the next Bond, or is, I keep hearing Idris Elba wants to be Bond or is going to be Bond, or it had to be something with casting. That's the only thing I could think of.
I think that the whole Idris, as much as he would be an amazing Bond, I really think that was just a PR stunt.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. But, who knows? Let's see Danny Boyle. Maybe he'll direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3 now.
Oh, now that would be awesome too.
Gunn's not coming back. There's just no way.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the head of Marvel says no. Finally, then
Yeah. All right, it's time to do movies. Now, obviously, that our first movie that I wanted to talk about is see if I can remember the name of it. It is the longest name in the history of movies. It's the Guernsey.
Potato something.
No, it's the Guernsey.
Read the prompter.
I know. I'm trying to read the prompt, but you don't understand. I had a huge little problem with my prompter, live TV, and it's covered up. So it's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel something or other. And it's on Netflix, so it's easily available to everybody. Let's take a look. See, I was right. It's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. I was
low tech. Write it down next time.
It's on the prompter. I just can't see it. Now, I've been teasing you since the show started. The most gorgeous girl in the entire world, my wife, Paula. Say hi, Paula.
Hi there.
Hi, Paula.
How's everyone?
Now, the reason why Paula is on the show today is because I gave you guys one assignment. Watch the Guernsey Potato Peel Literary blah, blah, blah movie. And none of you did. So
because you didn't tell me the title, I didn't know. I couldn't understand what the was.
I was too busy peeling potatoes.
I was planting Guernseys.
Paula, so my wife actually tell the story of how this movie came to be, Paula.
How the movie came to be, or how we started to watch it?
Well, my wife has been binge watching Supernatural from episode 1, and she's up to episode 200. And she decided, I'm tired of watching TV, but not Supernatural, because it's one of the top 3 shows that have ever been on TV. But she said, we're watching a movie tonight, and here are our choices. And she gave me 2 choices. I can't even remember the other one. And then it was I said, all right, well, let's watch this one, And as it turns out, we watched the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Thingamabob movie. So basically, Paula, can you give us a 30-second what the movie's about?
30 seconds. It's kind of like a Lifetime, Hallmark kind of movie that you have a writer who is writing under another name, and she discovers a society that is on Guernsey during World War II, and she decides to go out and visit them. And through the process, you learn a lot of different, I don't even know how to say this because I'm hearing myself back.
Oh, I didn't. I never even occurred to me that would happen because I brought you in at the end. So basically, what happens here is she goes over to write this story, but there's some kind of big secret, and they don't want any publicity whatsoever. And she goes over there. She starts to become absorbed into their book club. She starts to understand what's happening, and she slowly starts to chip away at this big secret to the point where she gets to know everybody. And it's a love story. It's a romance story. And I have to tell you, it's really good. I really liked it. Paula, what did you think of it, Paula?
I liked the story a lot. I thought that the understory could have been developed a lot more. I felt like there were a lot of pieces of that were just kind of highlighted very lightly. and I felt like we could have got more into the characters that we didn't get to see, but we got to learn about. So I thought the understory was better than the top story, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, my wife is not a hopeless romantic like I am, so
I tried everything.
yeah, I cry at commercials. Yeah. What?
I cry at real life. You cry at TV.
Yeah, real life. I mean, nothing makes me affect emotionally, but anything with a dog or a romance, I'm just bawling my eyes out. So, but I really, really like this movie. It's the worst named movie ever, although it was the name of a book by the exact same name. But
what's the name again?
It's the but my teleprompter's up. It's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. Right?
There you go.
No? Did I get that wrong?
Potato. How do you spell potato?
Potato. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. In fact, there's a little logo there, and we gave it a spoiler-free review. Yeah, okay, let's face it. This movie is predictable. It's a little bit sappy, but I loved it. I loved it.
But so we get to see any
You should listen to me more.
What's that, Paula?
You should definitely listen to my opinion more.
I will definitely consider your opinion when it comes to movies from now on.
And I have that in writing.
Yes, you can. All right, well, I just wanted to thank my wife for coming on the show, because since none of you guys actually saw the movie. Okay, so sorry about that echo there, baby. I'll talk to you later. No problem. All right, next up is a movie that I can not only see on the teleprompter, but pronounce. It's Papillion. All right. Now, Gino, who was previously scheduled to be on the show, who wasn't on show, but then he was, then he wasn't, sat down and got to talk with the cast about how difficult this movie actually was to make.
I can't imagine how difficult this was. In your history of work, was this the toughest thing you've done?
Charley doesn't think it was hard. I think it was hard. I think you take on some pretty tough roles and put yourself in some precarious places. Lost City of Z. That looked pretty tough. Yeah.
I guess it was. I mean, I always just think, for me, back to the scale for me at the high end was the experience that I had on Sons of Anarchy for all of those years, because we would shoot in summer and I'd just be out in the desert from sunrise to sunset at 112 degrees, 115 degrees sometimes, wearing a hoodie and a leather jacket, riding a bike, and so anything below that is gravy, But no, we had some tough days on this, and we were both starving ourselves, which makes a tough day all that more difficult,
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so here's the deal. I know for a fact that Jeff Howard Papillion is one of his favorite movies. Is that correct, Jeff?
Original.
The original.
Yeah, the original was Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. It's on my iPad. It's on my iPhone. When I travel, it's one of my staples that I watch. And I was really, when I saw the trailer for this, months ago, I was really excited to see what they were going to do with it. And overall, I think there's two schools of thought on this. Someone like me who loves the original, has seen it 100 times and knows every frame of this movie, I was disappointed in overall because it looked almost like a shot-for-shot remake. They even used the original script. But I think if you've never heard of the story or seen the original, I think the movie still captures what Papillion's story is all about. A safecracker who was framed for murder and put on Devil's Island in French Guiana. So it's still an amazing performances, but the remake really had didn't explore the characters enough. It just dealt with the visceral kind of the horrible life of being on Devil's Island. So, but overall, I thought the pacing was really slow on it.
What about you, Bonnie? You saw it like a year ago, didn't you?
Yeah, so this was at the Toronto International Film Festival last year. So it's already now just coming out almost a year later. We're almost getting ready now for new TIFF. But I'm with you, Jeff. I'm a purist. I always say, why remake a film? Please stop doing that. Like, there's got to be some creativity in Hollywood. However, I love Charley Hunnam. I love Rami Malek. I'm a Mr. Robot fanatic. I can't wait to see him as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. You've got two great actors here, but I completely agree with you. nothing changes. Nothing. There was no reason to remake this film. Period.
Right, especially when Malek actually sounds like he was doing a Hoffman impression. That he had the glasses and everything. Do something different. Give him a lisp or give him a limp or something to make that Louis Gay his own character. And not only that, I couldn't understand why the movie was set in the 30s. So the original is like timeless. It doesn't show age. You know, it's perfection. So I don't understand this remake whatsoever. I really
I agree.
All right, well, you guys seem to be both on par now. Jeff, I'm so glad that you can't reach across the screen and choke me, because I never saw the original.
Oh,
I never saw the original. So I watched this, and I'm going to bring on my lovely wife again. Hello, Paula. Oh, no, she's going to be so mad at me.
Oh, nice. I just ran out of the room.
I know, I saw you. I was watching you on the monitor. All right, so I never saw the original. I had no idea what it was about. And my wife and I watched this just the other night, I think 2 nights ago, and I liked it a lot. I thought the acting was fantastic. And at the end, when I found out it was a true story, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So with somebody that had no prior reference to the previous movie, I liked this a lot. I thought it was well acted. I thought it was a little bit long, but I thought it was a really good movie. What about you, Paula?
I thought it was very long and very sad and depressing.
Okay.
Wasn't quite ready for that.
Yeah.
Really? Well, yeah. I don't know. You didn't see the original either. You've never seen any movie prior to like 5 years ago, right?
I never saw a movie before I met you.
That's right. She never went to the movies. Yeah. In fact, when the weekend before we got married at the Critics' Choice Awards, I was introducing her to people, and she's like, something like we'd run into Jack Black, and he blessed our marriage, and she goes, "Is that one of your critic friends?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I knew who he was.
No, you did not. You'd know who he
Yes,
was
I did.
now. The only person you knew was Meryl Streep.
Well,
Yeah.
at least I knew that.
Yeah, but anyhow, so there you have it. We both saw this movie for the first time. She thought it was long, but it's still a decent movie. Paula?
I thought it was an excellent movie. I just felt like it was very heavy.
Okay.
It just kind of walked away feeling, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you just saw the Summer in the Park version in Main Street, USA. Make sure you go to Broadway and see the Steve McQueen version, and it's just, and you'll have a much better experience. Even though that's the reaction I was expecting for someone who's never seen the original, that it's still an amazing story. Even though historians have said a lot of that he faked. It didn't happen that way.
Oh, really?
It wasn't as bad that way, right? And
Well, you're such a buzzkill.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, ever since someone told me that, where is it? The bridge on the River Kwai was fake too. That never happened, So I was like,
I did not know that.
There was a bridge, but all that didn't happen. There's a great History Channel series that was on called History versus Hollywood, and they just destroy all the famous Hollywood movies that we thought were all true. So
I was on that bridge. I visited that bridge, so now I feel bad.
You have really? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, a couple of years ago we went. It was really cool. So.
But see the original, you two. Sometime in the next 6 months, see.
I will see the original. I will give it a shot, and but that's the same thing that happened when they remade Psycho. It was a shot-for-shot remake, and
that was different.
Yeah,
that was different though. That just even though it was shot-for-shot remake, it still had its own elements, making it its own with Vince Vaughn and some of the flash imaging that was in there, or him, peeping through into the shower and touching himself. There were things that were not in the original that Gus Van Sant threw in there that I thought was brilliant.
Okay. All right. Well, say goodbye to my wife for real this time, because
bye for real.
Thank you.
I'm done with you.
See you both.
Bye-bye.
Done with you.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm in trouble
on the
now.
couch tonight.
Absolutely. All right. So our final movie is parents. Mom, Dad, if you got any little kids listening, it's time to turn down the volume, because this is an R-rated puppet movie. All right, well, I heavily edited that little last segment. I just couldn't do it. It was just
that's interesting, because she called it ecstasy in the trailer, but in the movie, it's all sugar.
Yeah.
So that was interesting how they changed that, but so that was interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely. So Jeff, why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown?
Happy Time Murders takes place in a world where puppets and humans live together, and a police detective, who's the puppet, the first on the force, has been ostracized from the force due to a tragic event one day. I don't want to give a spoiler away. But someone is killing the Happy Time cast, which is a television show from in the 80s, and it's about to have a big payoff going into syndication. But someone is killing cast members. So the ostracized cop, the puppet, teams up with his old partner, Melissa McCarthy, to find out who is committing these murders. And we go on this raunchy, R-rated, Avenue Q meets Sesame Street meets Roger Rabbit. It's one. When I saw the trailer, I love things that are perverted. So something that's wholesome and they twist it around. A good example is Bad Santa. You take Santa Claus and just stand it on his ear. Unfortunately, with this movie, is that they ran out of steam. They didn't know where to go with this movie after 20 minutes because it turned into all the cliches of every gumshoe movie, from Sam Spade and Dashiell Hammett. And you're just sitting there going, where are we going with this? They seem lost. After you did all the dirty words, after you did all the porn stuff with puppets, you just kind of like, oh my gosh, we're going to be for an adventure. Then it falls into the trap of being a cliche and becomes very boring. I can see this as a webisode kind of thing, where every 10-minute webisodes where they're trying to figure out who the killer is. It would have worked better online, but not as a full-length film.
Well, Bonnie, why don't you take us behind the scenes a little bit and tell us about the director of this movie?
Okay, so the director of this movie, his name is Brian Henson. People will recognize that last name Henson because his dad was the infamous Jim Henson, the man who brought us the Muppets, who brought us Sesame Street, who brought us clean puppets, not dirty puppets.
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock, yeah, but still, like, not to this extent in terms of, So Brian has started up his own company, and this movie's been almost 15 years in the making. He saw a script originally about 15 years ago. It wasn't quite what he wanted, and they redeveloped it, finally flash forward ahead. He got Melissa McCarthy on board, and then more humans decided that they would come on board. You got Joel McHale, Elizabeth Banks. This has got a lot of people in this film, and there's also 125 puppets in this movie.
Wow. Well, let's take a look at you sat down with him. Let's take a little look at your interview.
Okay.
Well, welcome to Toronto. Good to have you here with the Happytime Murders. Now, I have to ask you, this has been a long time in the making, like almost 15 years altogether. What was it that you said, I got to do this?
Well, when I first saw the script, it was the first draft that Todd Berger had done, and it was not what I was looking for at the time. It was unwieldy, it was R-rated, it wasn't. But then, not long after that, I started developing a show called, it wasn't a show initially, but I started doing improv comedy workshops with my puppeteers because I was trying to find a new tone of comedy for puppets. And I had been trying to do it through the writers, and that wasn't really working. So I was trying to do it through the performers. And I got together with Patrick Bristow, who's a very famous improv comedian and trainer and director. And we started working with the puppeteers, and we thought, oh, this is really something. This is really funny. And then we put it in front of a friends and family audience just to start getting feedback, and everybody loved it. And then it just started getting booked places. And I was like, whoa, wait a second, it's not even a show. And it's like, no, that's okay. Bring it to the Aspen Comedy Festival, what you just did. And so it organically became a show. And what was interesting was I was trying to find what's the funniest puppets can be today in today's audience. And in that show, the suggestions were always very blue and very adult of what they would like to see us do with puppets. And as long as you did it right, it was hilariously funny. I mean, if you did it wrong, it just became gross and stupid. But if you did it right, it was hilariously funny. Great for us, the performers doing it, and the audience really appreciated it. So then I decided I do want to do something scripted in this tone. And then I started looking for scripts that I felt I could adapt into this tone. And that made me look back at Todd's script. But even that was probably 11 or 12 years ago.
Wow.
And then I started working with Todd to rewrite the script. But it was always Happytime Murders. It was always called that. It was always starring Phil Phillips. And we did like 15 drafts. And we've been ready to make the movie for probably 6 years now. And haven't been able to get enough money to do it right. So I've twice said no to offers to make it because there just weren't enough money. And then STX, Adam Fogelson at STX, really liked it and wanted to make it. And he said, and we'll spend the right amount of money with the right casting. So then it was trying to figure out who the right casting was to put in the mix. And when Melissa read it.
I was going to say, you can't get any better than her.
Right. So starting a year and a half ago or so, a little bit more than a year and a half ago, Melissa got excited about it, and that's basically when we went into pre.
Wow. You know, I'd like to point out that Bonnie asked him one question, and he basically went on forever and ever. But I don't know. He seemed. But I just found out before the interview started that you actually talked to one of the characters. Oh wait, I guess if I want you to interact, I got to put up your volume there. So.
I couldn't hear you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't hear me? I was just saying that's the kind of interview you love. You ask him one question and he gives you so many great little sound bites. I love that.
Oh, well, I thought he was a little bit winded, but Bonnie.
I jumped in after and I got a couple more things going, but oh my God! But I didn't want to be rude, right? You don't want to cut them off. So.
Yeah. And real quickly before we wrap up, I have to see this interview. I finally got it loaded. I've been working on it. I want to check out this other interview you did with the movie.
Okay.
Goofer, it is so great to meet you.
Oh, it's very great to meet you, Bonnie. And you smell very nice.
Thank you. It's the shampoo. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was like a Joe Malone fragrance. Not Joe Malone the boxer. You know, Joe Malone the perfumery.
Got it.
I apologize if I smell like garbage. I smell a little bit like cat pee and licorice, but
It's okay. It's a good scent. You know, you could sell that if you wanted to. You know?
Well, maybe I'll try.
No, let's just get one thing straight. The Happytime murders, definitely not for young kids, correct?
It is not for young kids, no. But, I mean, for young puppets, it's probably fine. I mean, I saw my first violent, sex-filled movie when I was 2 or 3.
Gotta start young.
Well, yeah, the babysitter just sort of left me in front of the screen, and I was like, okay, Clockwork Orange, neat. Of course, I think it was a porn version of Clockwork Orange, so it was even rougher.
Oh, that's pretty rough. I don't know if I'd want to see that version, but, you know, okay, to each his own.
I mean, look at me. I turned out a totally normal homeless sugar addict.
You totally did. Now, why on earth would anybody want to murder a puppet? I don't get that.
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, some people say puppets are annoying, but I don't think so. Do you think so?
I don't think so at all.
Annoying? You don't think puppets are annoying? You can tell me if you think so. Do you? Come on, tell me. Really?
No, I don't mind,
Really?
honestly.
Not annoying?
Not annoying.
Okay.
You're all good. You're all good. You'd probably fit in very well at my home, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, take me home. Let's see what happens.
Okay. No, they say never work with animals and kids, but does that ring true for working with humans?
Well, I'm open to both puppets and humans. Sometimes I'm open to puppets and humans at the same time. Yeah. In an orgy. I'm talking about an orgy.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were talking about. Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, well,
You're good at innuendo.
I've heard a lot about you.
Okay. My reputation precedes me.
It does. Now, do you miss being in the Happytime gang?
Oh, yeah. I miss having puppet actors pretending to be my friends, because now I just live alone on the streets, and I don't have real friends or actors pretending to be my friends. The only friends I have are the voices I sometimes hear in my head that tell me to do things. And even they're pretty mean to me.
Oh, dear. Okay. Now, I have to ask you, was Jenny nice to you during the filming? Here, we have a nice group shot there.
Jenny, she was super nice, because she was always giving me advice on things to do around Los Angeles. Like, hey, Goofer, why don't you go take a long walk off a short pier? Or, hey, Goofer, why don't you go play in traffic? She had so many great ideas.
Sounds like she had a lot of great ideas, for
most
sure.
people are just like, hey, go to the Getty. Bleh, boring.
I agree with you. When I go to LA,
you play in traffic, because traffic is what LA is all about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what do you like best, maple syrup or pure sugar?
Oh, that's a tough one. Depends on my mood, really. I mean, if it's been a long day and I want to relax, a nice glass of maple syrup really hits the spot.
Yeah.
But if it's a weekend, I'm looking to get nuts, then I'll snort a whole pound bag of purifying sugar. That'll do the trick.
I think it would do the trick, that's for sure. Now, I want to know what kind of movies you like.
Well, I usually go for romantic comedies, or porn. Or I'd like to find a good romantic comedy porn. But they don't make any good ones anymore, you know?
Well, you could star in one if you wanted.
I suppose.
Think about it. That'd be good.
You've got mail. Spelled M-A-L-E. Boom! You can have that one.
It's a good one. It would be a good one. Now, what have you been doing since you've arrived in Canada?
Did you know they literally have trees with maple syrup inside of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, all you gotta do is make a hole in the bark and you can just suck out the syrup. All my years of sucking practice have really paid off.
Yeah, I hope you're not going to smuggle any back. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay, I won't say. I won't tell on you.
I'm not saying I won't.
I will keep your secret. So, after people see this movie, you're going to be a huge star. So, do you have anything? What's coming up next?
I am? Okay. Well, then I'll probably look to expand my business onto the internet. I heard about something called a webcam that could let me do my usual things, but to a much bigger audience. So all I have to do is learn what a computer is and how to use it.
I'm sure you will master it. You'll be a pro, like everything else. This is going to be a great film. I think people are going to love it. And it's my pleasure to have met you today and speak with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bonnie. It's my pleasure indeed. And I might take up on that offer to come home with you, so.
My pleasure.
Sweet.
Okay.
Wow. Some of my favorite interviews that I've ever done were with Muppets. Jeff, your favorite interview that I've ever done was with Kermit and Fozzie. So that's completely.
One of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
And just to say, Bonnie, that you could see where Brian Henson was talking about earlier, taking the puppeteers to improv classes.
Yes.
Look at that. That was all off the cuff.
Yep.
That guy was just riffing. It was funny. It was coherent. I mean, that really shows that is not easy to do. It is not easy.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not easy
definitely.
to do.
But I will say that interview, and I see how I wrap this all together, was so much funnier than this movie because I hated this movie.
It was pretty bad,
Yeah.
and not only that, you ready for this? Behind me was like 6 of the worst 70-plus old ladies who were repeating every joke,
Oh my God!
making it
really?
the popcorn, so it made my movie-going experience one of the worst in years. So I do want to give it another chance. I will watch it again, but I'm just telling you, it's just not. It wasn't funny, and Melissa McCarthy had nothing to work off of.
Nope.
Normally, she saves the day. I'm one of the biggest fans. But this movie, she just had nowhere to go.
And it just seemed like they were being raunchy just to be raunchy for no reason whatsoever. Let's just swear. Let's just do this. Let's just, it was ridiculous. I didn't laugh. I was like, oh, this is just terrible. What, I had
trying to do the racism allegory, because the humans against the puppets and how they were always demeaning the puppets. That didn't even come across as any kind of learning experience. It just seemed wrong. And it just didn't make any sense.
And as boring as the movie I thought was, the credits were even, I'm like, oh, I'll just hang out for a while and see. I was reading, I'm trying to entertain myself by watching all the stuff that's going on in the background of the wallpaper on the credits, and I mean, it was just terrible. I say go to smartentertainment.group.com and watch Bonnie's interview again because that was so much better than this movie was. I
just don't think this did not deserve a theatrical release. It would have done great on Netflix. It would have done great as individual web episodes, doing the mystery. But as a whole film, it can't carry it. The premise doesn't work because you just get bored. The novelty wears off so fast.
Where this would have done really well at was what's the website, pieceofcrap.com or ihatethismovie.com or don'twasteyourmoney.com. I don't know, but wow,
no one's gonna go see this. I don't know what target audience this is for.
I'd like to tell you, like, this movie was an hour and like 31 minutes, I believe, long.
It was short, but it seemed like 2 hours.
It took me an hour and 31 minutes to get to the theater in traffic. Wow. So I had to drive an hour and 31 minutes, sit for the movie for an hour and 31, and then drive home. And I was just like, I was listening to the radio all the way, and I was like, that was more entertaining than this movie was. It really was. So I say stay away. Jeff says, wait for what? Video, are you saying? Give it another, you're going to give it?
It's funny to watch the first 20, 30 minutes of it, and then just forget it. I mean, the whole scene where they were shooting that porn film in the back of the shop with a cow and a squid with the udders, I was dying. But the rest of the movie wasn't like that. It wasn't creative. It didn't keep you guessing. It turned into this cliche Maltese Falcon kind of movie. It was just, ugh.
Yeah, so there you have it. You got, according to Jeff, you have, well, he only saw 2 of the 2 movies, and they're both turkeys for Jeff this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's saying avoid Papillion, avoid Happytime Murders. I
didn't say avoid Papillion. I'm just saying the original is better. But like you, who've never seen it, yeah, it's a compelling story.
Yeah,
it was good.
Exactly.
To be determined later after I see the original. I'm sure. I'll sure agree with you. I really respect you as a critic, and I think you know what you're talking about.
McQueen and Hoffman.
I know. How do you top that?
I don't know. I as far as I know, this was the best version. So there is that.
Also, Chuck, look for Billy Mooney from Lost in Space and Twilight Zone. He's in the original Papillion.
Okay. All right.
I'm not telling you where. You got to find him.
All right. So Bonnie, you're at smartentertainmentgroup.com, right?
Yep.
And you're also on your way to Ireland. So
I am. I'm taking off soon, and I'll send you guys a little note from Ireland next week. I'll tape something for you.
Oh, that'll be perfect. And
do the Guinness tour for you when you get to Dublin.
That's booked. Guinness tour, but I'm gonna do the scary
and the
bus
Jameson.
Tour. That's great. Yeah.
Haunted bus tour, and
Haunted
also
bus tour. Okay.
the Jameson Distillery, the whiskey place. It's fantastic too. That's a good one too.
And Jeff, the legend, the man who's been inducted into the Hall of Fame in Nevada, give yourself a plug.
Well, you can check out my reviews and interviews at vegasfilmcritic.com, which takes you to all my social media portals and my YouTube page. And it's all there, all in black and white.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. Thanks so much. And Bonnie, have a safe trip. I hope to see you back here soon. Jeff, I hope to see you next week.
I'll be here. Thanks a lot, guys. Safe trip.
Bye-bye. Bye.